Warframe is a game that has been around for a long time, almost 10 years as a matter of fact. Looking back at day one and then looking at what Warframe has become over the years is stunning to say the least. The sheer amount of content we have now compared to back then is mind-blowing. There are over 50 unique Warframes to find, build, and deck out to be incredibly powerful. There are jetpacks, open worlds, hoverboards, mechs, ship-to-ship combat, hordes of enemies, hundreds of mods, and a ton of weapons to use them on. The combat mechanics are awesome, and on top of that is a really wild and interesting story, and all of it is completely free to experience. There really is just so much to do in this game. It can be overwhelming for some people, and this series is for you guys. Whether you are a new player or a returning player, we want to welcome you to a series that hopes to help you gain valuable insight into Warframe's many mechanics. So come with me, fellow Tenno. Take a journey through the void, and let's see what your first few hours in Warframe will look like and expand on everything so that you can know what you're getting into and what the basics of the game really are. I am AeroDox, welcome to Liquid Universe Gaming, and this is a new player's guide to Warframe.
For generations you've slept. No purpose. No call.
Space ninjas. Or at least that's what you were expecting, but no, this is a bit more than that really. After a pretty sweet cutscene, we discover that we are what are called Tenno, an ancient warrior culture that had apparently fought in a much older war and then suddenly vanished. We were just chilling in this old ruin, it looks like, and then a voice summons us back to take up the fight once again, and we, the player, are given a choice between three Warframes, the Excaliber, Volt, and Mag. Each one has unique abilities that advance as we level up. Your abilities consume energy, there'll be more on that later, but they can eventually be modified. Things like the radius of attack, the damage, how much energy you spend to activate these abilities, and a whole bunch more will be controlled by you later on. So for now, let's just talk about the basics. For this video, we are going to be starting off with Excaliber, as it is touted as the perfect balance of mobility and offense, and is ideal for new players. Excaliber's abilities are Slash Dash, Radial Blind, Radial Javelin, and Exalted Blade. Every Warframe has unique skills and uses, so pick the one that feels right to you, but if you aren't sure, start with Excaliber, because ultimately you'll be given a chance to acquire each and every Warframe that exists, no matter what you choose here. After a short scene where the mysterious voice surges our Warframe's power systems, we are finally let loose on our nearby enemies. After clearing this room with our first ability, we get the usual prompting for our basic controls. Space for jump, shift for sprint, control for crouch, and then it gives us our first choice of weapon, the Skana or the MK1 bow. Either weapon will serve you well, but personally I recommend the Skana because its deal is pretty straightforward. You slice with the weapon and the enemy falls to pieces. The MK1 bow is a staff type weapon and does work just fine as far as beginner weapons go, but there are a few more things that go into it, like dealing impact damage instead of the Skana's slash damage, which might be a pain for new players later on because different types of damage work on different types of enemies. That being said, again, pick the one that feels right to you. After picking our weapon, we cut or beat our way through the next area where we learn that we can tap space twice to double jump, we learn that some things in Warframe are breakable like boxes and rocks, and we learn that while sprinting, we can hit control and slide around. Then we continue on until we are prompted to select a secondary weapon, either the Lotto or the MK1 Kunai. The Lotto is a standard handgun, and while it is totally effective, I chose the Kunai because it just seemed like a lot more fun to me. They don't alert enemies when you use them, so if I want to be stealthy, that's an option. Plus, throwing them around in your enemies' faces is super satisfying in this game. Now we have two weapons, and we can swap between them by tapping the F key. Further ahead, we are taught how to wall climb and bullet jump, and then we eventually run into that guy from the beginning, Vor. After a short tangle with him that we are not supposed to win, he flees, and we are told to unlock a nearby door with a security terminal and slash our way through more enemies until we are left with our third and final starter weapon choice, the MK1 Bratton and the MK1 Paris. The MK1 Paris is a bow and is certainly tempting for stealth gameplay. Both choices are great, but I'm going to go with the MK1 Bratton. Continuing on, we learn that if we right click while we are in the air, we'll be able to aim glide, which is super fun and useful. Before long, we find that we have shot and sliced our way to this extraction ship that we've been hearing so much about, and we are told to disengage the nearby suppression system. And this terminal serves as our first introduction to hacking. Throughout your playtime with Warframe, you'll be confronted with these, and all you need to do is press the spacebar when the spinning reticle is lined up with the outer circle's tabs. Easy enough, right? Well, later on in the game, these become more difficult by adding additional tabs and changing the way the slider goes around the outer circle. These terminals are Grineer terminals, but you'll also encounter others that originate from different factions, like the Corpus. Each faction has its own minigame that is associated with its terminals, and you'll need to learn how to interact with all of them at least for a little while until you can gain the ability to craft ciphers, which automatically deal with these things for you. Upon successfully hacking the terminal, the ship's Cephalon, an advanced AI system, wakes up and recognizes us as operator. Before we can ask any questions, we are told to defend the ship until we are finally victorious and we extract, heading off into space aboard our new ship. We find ourselves inside this new ship called the Orbiter, and it will serve as our base of operations for now, a sort of hub between missions, and it will in the future eventually contain multiple rooms and machines that will ultimately serve every purpose you could possibly want, like crafting, incubating, and even a personal room which I use to store all kinds of stuff. Once we install the arsenal segment, we can take this time to look around, change our colors if we want to, and remove that old worn texture off our new ship. But aside from that, there really isn't a whole lot that we can do just yet, and really our only option is to follow Ortis and the Lotus's instructions and head to our first mission. Right now they need us to head out and obtain the comms segment because the Lotus believes that if we get our communications working again, maybe we can locate someone who can help. This is where we are introduced to the navigation screen. Pressing X opens up our navigation screen and zooms in on Earth, where we can see the many markers for missions and paths that connect them. But if we scroll out, we can see that there are many different planets, each with their own missions and locations to experience. Warframe has a level progression system that uses paths, so by completing one mission, we unlock more paths that lead to more missions, and right now we can see how that tracks on Earth, and our next mission is located on this node here. This mission is fairly simple and tasks us with breaking into a vault and stealing what we need. It also serves as the game's introduction to the stealth mechanics. When you are on missions that are asking you to break into somewhere and steal something, generally you want to avoid being seen because nearby enemies will run to nearby terminals and activate alarms. This makes your mission just a little bit more difficult, and if this happens, you can try to eliminate all the nearby enemies and then find a terminal to interact with and reset the alarms. The paths that lead to vaults and secure areas will also change later on and feature many different traps and secret pathways, so remember to explore and take your time. Remember to practice using your abilities and kill everything for some early affinity while you collect all the loot that you can from boxes and enemies. Collecting loot from anywhere is required for crafting, and in Warframe all loot is good loot in that anything you can add to your stockpiles of things you've acquired on your missions will be useful later on because it will allow you to craft new items, weapons, and Warframes. And remember that your abilities cost energy, and at the start of every mission you normally will begin with full health and energy. The energy of a Warframe is a resource used mainly to cast abilities. Warframes all have 4 abilities that, at base, cost up to 100 energy to cast. Almost every Warframe has their own energy pool with varying capacities depending on the type and costs of their various abilities. They can be recharged or replenished various ways by picking them up from boxes, lockers, and enemies. They also come in 2 varieties, large and small. The small ones restore 25 energy, which are dropped from enemies, while the large ones are dropped from lockers and containers. Keep an eye on your energy while you are on your missions, and as you unlock them, take the time to learn what your abilities do in combat, how much energy they cost, and how they work together, because it will help you later on when you go to start modding. Anyway, once we sneak or rampage through this level and reach the vault, we open the doors, head inside, defeat the Grineer security terminal, then grab the comms segment and hack and slash our way back to extraction. On our way back, however, we discover that Vor's device, the one that he stuck on us in the beginning, is slowly burrowing its way into our Warframe, and he'll soon have us under his control. Luckily, the comms unit we've recovered will allow the Lotus to analyze it. When she does so, she discovers that the device is Corpus in origin. It is at this point that we also unlock the Codex. The Codex is a special place in your orbiter which effectively behaves as the game's database. In the Codex, you can view details about almost every aspect of Warframe, whether it be from the Warframes, the weapons, the companions, relics, mission types, how to play the game, and much more. But for now, we are going to need to locate someone who is a specialist in Corpus technology. The only issue is the one we know of needs to be busted out of prison. Once we complete the next mission by making our way through the facility, sneaking or slashing our way into the prison block, releasing Darvo, and then escorting him back to the ship, we unlock the mod segment, and once we get it installed, we are finally able to mod our weapons and warframes fully. While you're out on your missions, you're going to come across mods, and sometimes you're going to find them in containers, sometimes from enemies, others from exploring, some in exchange for standing, and even some from trading with other players. To access our mods, we need to open up the arsenal, select the weapon or warframe we want to modify, and then select Upgrade, where we are taken to the modding interface and we can see everything about our equipment and all of our mods. In total, there are 4 basic types or polarities of mods: Moderai, Vazarin, Naramon, and Zenerik. These polarities determine where mods can be installed on your equipment. By applying mods, we can see that our mod capacity goes down by the cost of our mod. Some mod slots have polarities built into them, while others don't. By inserting a mod into a mod slot with a matching polarity type, we can see that we use less mod capacity than the cost of the mod would suggest. If we were to insert a mod with a polarization that doesn't match, we can see that we end up getting a penalty and using more mod capacity than intended. As an example of what mods can do, this weapon here shoots saw blades, but we can see that it shoots very slowly. If I applied the speed trigger mod and maybe a mod or two for multi-shot, we can see that not only do we shoot much faster, but more projectiles come out of the weapon with each firing. And there are way more things that can be modded about this weapon, and most weapons in particular, and the possibilities are endless. And an in-depth modding video will be on its way soon, so if you want to know when that gets released, you could hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell and be one of the first ones to see it. But anyway, as you go on missions and you use your weapons and warframes, you'll gain experience for them and their mod capacities will eventually max out at 30. The more mod capacity means the more powerful mods that you can install. If you keep an eye on your missions in your navigation console, at some point, and fairly frequently, a mission will be added to your list that reads Gift from the Lotus, which has what are called Orokin Reactors and Orokin Catalysts as rewards. Once you beat these missions, you'll be awarded with the ability to double your warframe or weapons mod capacity from 30 to 60. However, the trade-off of this is that it will reset the item or warframe back to level 0, and you'll need to work it up again. You will also at some point acquire Forma, either as a reward from a mission or as a blueprint. By using a Forma, players can make a specific mod slot more efficient by matching the polarity of the slot with the polarity of the mods they wish to use. Then when they're installed, the Forma resets the item's level to 0 and adds the new polarity to the specified mod slot. On top of being able to set up which mods are installed where, we can also upgrade our mods in exchange for credits and endo that are found during missions. To upgrade our mods, we can either click on the mods button while viewing the equipment in the arsenal, or we can head over here and view the totality of our mod collection. Once we are here, we can click on any of the mods and then click on Fusion. Each mod has a certain amount of times that it can be upgraded, represented by these little marks here. If we click these, we can increase or decrease the amount of times that we want to upgrade our mod, and it looks like Organ Shatter can be upgraded 5 times. If we want to upgrade this mod to the maximum, we can see that the cost of that is here in terms of credits and endo. And on the other side, we can see that there are changes to the capacity cost of the mod as well as the upgrade's effects. As the mods are leveled up, they cost more mod capacity, but by getting clever with where you install mods, making use of Forma, and installing catalysts, you can end up creating pretty wild stuff. When you are ready to finalize it, you simply click here, and then head back into the arsenal and install the mod. There is a lot more that goes into this system, but for now, those are the basics. What we should focus on right now is completing these missions that the Lotus and Ortis are giving us. They serve as an introduction to a few more gameplay mechanics, and along the way we learn that Vor's device is called an Ascaris, and that we will need to build something called an Ascaris Negator because we are running out of time before he will end up controlling us. On our quest to deactivate the Ascaris and hunt down Vor, we will eventually locate and install the Foundry segment, which allows us to craft items, warframes, weapons, and everything in between as long as we have the blueprint and the resources the blueprint requires. Crafting is not complex in Warframe, and the idea is really straightforward. Basically, while we're out on our missions, enemies and containers will drop resources when they are killed or destroyed. Some missions will award you with resources as well at certain intervals. For example, there are survival missions that pay out a reward every 5 minutes you manage to stay in the mission before extracting back to the orbiter. Every planet and mission type has the possibility to drop different types of resources. As an example, if you're looking for nanospores, according to the Codex, nanospores are dropped from missions on Eris, Neptune, Deimos, and Saturn. So if I play a mission in any of those places, I have the chance to pick up that resource. You will learn via experience that there are certain missions that may or may not be better for acquiring what you need in large amounts. As we continue to follow the quest line, eventually we are told to go out and collect what we need to build the Ascaris Negator from some caches in a Corpus facility. And once we do so and bring back those things, we can build the Negator and finally remove the Ascaris from our Warframes. Then all that's left is to find Vor and stop him for good. Continue down the quest line that you are being directed to, and you will be told that you need to head out and obtain the navigation segment, which is where you might also encounter your first instance of multiplayer. From here on out, it's possible to run missions and have other players join you automatically if anyone is doing that same mission. You can also turn this off if that's not for you, but anyone who joins you will not be able to hurt you. This is definitely not a PvP thing. Once you've got the nav segment, you'll be given a choice to extract right away or save some colonists. I tested both, but either way, after you're successful and you make it back to the ship to install the nav segment, it'll be time to find out where Vor is hiding. Vor is the first of many bosses you'll face, and his fight is super easy. Basically, you'll make your way through the ship to find him, and once you do, the fight begins, and it'll be time for you to take care of his minions and then focus all of your fury on him. Every once in a while, he'll have a yellow shield on him that makes him invulnerable, and he'll summon some baddies for you to fight. Once they are dealt with, his shield will be removed, and then he'll be open to damage again. Repeat this cycle until he is vanquished, and then make your way off the ship and extract. What a ride. But where do we go from here? The game now basically lets you loose, and from here on out, it'll be up to you to decide where you want to go and what you want to do. Right away, I would suggest that you continue to clear the mission paths here on Earth first, and then along the way you'll find out that there are open regions to explore and new missions and mysteries to stumble across. You'll discover that each planet has 1 or 2 junctions that you'll need to meet the requirements for in order to progress to more planets. There are relays to go to, which will act as hubs where you'll often find other players. You'll meet NPCs and organizations and take on missions in exchange for standing for them. You'll also take on mastery rank tests, which serve as a sort of progression gate. And basically, in order to rank up your mastery, you'll need to continue to head out, clear missions and planets, complete quests, level up your warframes, weapons, companions, and any other equipment that you'll unlock along the way, and as you do so, you'll gain mastery rank experience. And once you reach the threshold for a rank up, you'll receive a notification in your orbiter that you're ready to take the test. If you pass, you'll be allowed access to even more weapons and warframes at the market that were previously locked to you, giving you even more things to level up, which will add more to your ever-evolving mastery experience pool. Believe me, you are far from done. There are so many things that you'll get to see and so much story for you to be a part of. There are more mod polarizations to discover, new powerful abilities to unlock, kit guns to build. You can also build your own dojo, which is a whole other beast entirely. There are ships that you can pilot and fight in, there are companions that you can grow or build, you can fish, you can fly, but also, who are you? Who are the Tenno? Who is the Lotus, and why did the Tenno vanish all that time ago? I've played off and on for nearly 10 years now, and even I haven't seen it all. Granted, I have so many games to play that sometimes it's easy to get lost in them for a while and not open Warframe for several weeks or even a few months. But myself and others keep coming back because Warframe offers solid content. There's always something to do, there's always some goal to work towards. The graphics and the story are great, and when you achieve your goals in Warframe, it actually feels rewarding. The devs are also really good to the player base. It's insane. Just about every time the devs have stated that something awesome is coming just around the corner, they've always delivered. There is no paid DLC in this game, at least there's no way to boost your character with money, and no areas or stories that you can't access without paying more money. They do have a store that has a lot of cosmetics that you can buy in exchange for platinum, which is Warframe's premium currency, but even a ton of the cosmetics are easy to get without paying anything at all. Sure, you can buy weapons and warframes for platinum in-game, but you can't buy their rank ups. You can't buy mastery rank, you still have to earn all of that. Digital Extremes even allows players to trade items acquired through sheer gameplay for the platinum in-game to anyone with a mastery rank of 4, so by simply playing the game you can find or earn stuff that other players will pay you platinum for, and it's actually really easy to do so. So if you've been looking into Warframe, wanting to jump back into it, or thinking about giving it a go for the first time, I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll regret it. After all, it's free to play and install right now, so what do you have to lose? To be honest, the gaming community could use more quality games made by developers that listen to their player base, and I truly believe that Warframe and Digital Extremes fit well within that category. But now that we've taken you through the first few hours of Warframe, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. Honestly, we didn't want to spoil a lot of the content available. If you guys are interested, we would love to continue to create more Warframe videos alongside our other content where we can dive deep into the mechanics and not hold back any spoilers. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, maybe even a comment, and let us know. Definitely do me a solid and consider hitting that subscribe button as well if you want to see more content just like this. And if you want to be notified when that content comes out, you could ring the little notification bell. It means a ton to me, and everything you guys do helps get the video out to more people and hopefully grow the Liquid Universe gaming community. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you in the next one. Peace.